Welcome to Africa Center. We are here in London today and I'm with Lisa Kennedy. We are attending the event, Changing the Narrative, Heritage and Culture. Lisa, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to this interview.
Okay, I believe you did some dissertation on repatriation. Can you briefly tell me what it was all about and what you hope to achieve?
So I recently wrote my dissertation and it was titled How Relevant is Socially Engaged Practice Within the Discourses of Repatriation? Responses to the recent calls for the repatriation of looted Ethiopian objects following the Battle of Magdala, 1868. And what I wanted to find out was how contemporary museum professionals understand the process of repatriation, the act of repatriation, and who's included and excluded from these conversations. So from this research, I interviewed contemporary museum professionals within Britain, but also internationally, and I used their comments to build upon existing knowledge about the repatriation discourses to build a better understanding of what is understood and what is misunderstood. And I did this through the socially engaged lens of transparency and inclusion in the hope to build a better conversation about what inclusion means when we talk about repatriation and how transparent that process is, if that makes sense.
Sounds exciting. And how long did it take you to prepare this dissertation, to work on it, and what sort of challenges did you face and how did you overcome them?
Thank you. So it took about 6 months to write it, which was not enough time to write it, but it was an enjoyable process because I felt like this is knowledge in an area that's not always of focus, especially in terms of thinking about who's included in these conversations. And the challenges were actually recruiting museum professionals to actually engage in interviews and also engage in a focus group, because I need those people who are working in those spaces to open up about what they understand about this process, and that's not always easy for people, especially people that are seen as professionals that are carers of collections that are held in trust for the public.
I believe you studied at Leicester University and you are about to graduate. What has been your experience at Leicester and what did you enjoy most?
Yes, graduation's coming up, which is exciting, but I feel like I enjoyed the open thinking, the open mindset to challenge what museums are and who they can be for, and how do we engage with different people that are not just interested in heritage and culture, but how do we go beyond that?
Talking about repatriation is something that's usually discussed by the older generation, so I can see you are a young girl, young woman. What inspired you to choose this topic?
As someone that's visited museums and works in museums, I found it interesting that we don't really talk about how objects entered museum collections. As the panel today discussed, a lot of it is based on conversations that are happening in academia, but how do they relate to people that are coming into museums every day that don't specialize or don't study museum studies at universities at master's levels? So I wanted to build that understanding from a place of privilege in terms of being able to study at a university and bring that conversation to people that tell me all the time that museums are not relevant, museums are boring, and repatriation is a topical issue at the moment. 2018 was a year where lots of big changes and lots of big conversations were happening, so I thought it would be best to talk about something that's contemporary to engage with more people than myself.
Okay, there have been various speakers on the panel talking about repatriation this morning. What have you learned from the panel and the conversation from the audience?
I've learned that repatriation is complex, but it doesn't have to be as complex as we make it, and we need to be doing what we can in the spaces that we're in to make sure this conversation doesn't get lost in just conversation. So it's about arming ourselves with that knowledge, which wherever you may receive that knowledge or obtain that knowledge, but actually doing something practical with it, and challenging those that would like to see objects just remain in museum collections that are not necessarily being used by anyone, let alone the museum itself. So that's what I've learnt today.
Okay, thank you so much, Lisa Kennedy, for speaking to us at News of the South. I would like to congratulate you on your success at your course that you did at Leicester University, and we're all looking forward to coming for your graduation party.
Thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time.